G'day there, it's Dave here, Dave Mills, and what you're looking at is a classic Italian position. Both e-pawns are played out. Now the bishop trots out, very standard, very solid for white. In a lot of games playing this structure for white, your king's ready to castle in only a few moves. Now we're going to be looking at the fried liver trap, and it's a lot more tasty than it sounds. And so instead of the standard bishop c5 for the Italian game, or even the Evans gambit, where you harass that bishop, instead of that, it's the Evans gambit accepted, I should say. What we actually see here is a two knights defense. Now this will be played a lot more often than you think. And black's only move here is d5 because of the attack, and white of course captures, and here's the blunder: if the knight recaptures the pawn, nasty. We'll be discussing the much better move, knight to a5, in fact pretty much the only move, but we'll discuss this another stage. And obviously you defend with a check, you capture another pawn, and so let's have a look at that just briefly. Yoink. And that actually ends up in a very, very interesting position, and best defense is queen f3 100%, and the bishop can't just take it because of the knight on a5 of all things. Now it can go wrong for white here if you don't know what we're doing, and we're gonna have a look at how black can turn the tables. But if knight takes, big blunder. Can you see why that is a mistake? It's a mistake because the king has lost coverage on the f-pawn. The f-pawn is particularly vulnerable because it's only defended by the king. Now we see how the queen can combine against that knight and the king. Very nasty. And street rules. Yep, when you got two attacking, why not have three? When you see a pinned piece, gang attack, and then street rules, baby. And knight b4, I think is not that particularly good. It's very common. Knight e7 is also a move. Knight on c to e7, and then you just smash it with d4. Just crushes. It's a crush. It's knight e7 is just it's really a crushing position. Bad bishops. Yeah, d4 is nasty. All right. I mean, it's definitely street rules here. Okay. Any weapon goes. So knight b4 is a try, and white has nothing to fear. If the knight captures the rook, it doesn't matter, it gets trapped in. You don't have to fear this queen attack because you've already mobbed d5. The d5 knight is a dead duck. So this threat is nothing. Whereas if you capture, it's just the knight can't move anywhere. The rook's going to become crushing down the e-file. It's with d4 to come. So black attacks the queen. It's all over now. That the momentum now, the combination of the queen and bishop, it's just absolutely crushing. And since the king is in a net, if the king can't move, check his mate. And obviously you can't block a knight. And what it comes down to is, look at all those pieces on black's side that hasn't developed. And knight d5, I'm not a fan. But I actually beat an 1800 player with this exact move. So knight a5, typical response, and like we discussed, and we're going to have a look at this now. This is best play for black, and you often don't get it. And look at those lovely green lines. Okay, or blue lines, colorblind. Anyway, so you can easily blunder here by moving that piece. You don't want your piece is attacked. You don't want to move it just for the sake of saving it. You know, you want to take advantage of the loose pieces in the position. Their weaknesses. Because that loose piece is a small center of gravity, and so is the king. So the knight has nowhere to move now. After bishop a4, where does the knight move? You're chasing the knight. Black's position is accelerating through threats. If you go to the edge, that's an obvious trap. Knight on the rim is dim, and knight to e5. Yeah. Loose pieces are centers of gravity, right? Just terrible. And okay, so having a look at that, if you play, how stupid does that knight look? Okay, now all of Black's pieces are pointing at the king's side. Perfect in an open center. You want everything pointing at the king's side. Even the knight on the rim is protected at a5. So yeah, knight to g1, just ick. And obviously on the rim, just an obvious trap. I like to call it an edge of the board Thunderdome from Mad Max. You go out on the edge and die. Anyway, so now we've seen that bishop move. To a4 is bad. What about bishop to e2? Does bishop to e2 work? Let's have a look. I don't think so. Once again, it's about Black's now getting the accelerating its momentum, and which momentum is the value of the pieces by their activity. It's accelerating. It has an advanced center pawn, which is like a weapon in of itself. And so yeah, not so good. So queen to f3 is the logical move. That loose piece is a cog, center of gravity. So we definitely want to destroy it. And so just I'm sorry about that. Just looking at this position here, bishop e7. Now, I've been playing Black in this position. I played bishop e7, and I actually got into a time scramble and lost. I have to confess, but I actually was in the winning position. I was definitely winning. Rook b8 doesn't work, and the reason is because it creates it. Rook b8 for me. I honestly think this is pretty much an equal position. I don't think it's a bad position for white or black. I think it's pretty even, pretty solid. So yeah, the mistake of knight takes d4. We see it all the time in club play. This is the Freilich attack is something you do at the chess club. Okay, it's like a you're not gonna see the two knights defense at a higher level. It's just not played very often. But unless it's blitz, then blitz is like street fight, or some of the rules don't quite apply in blitz. Okay, but if you have players time to think about it, not so good. So I'm rambling. Obviously, it's all over now. It's just a crushing position, and we can see the sum total of the momentum is just quite vicious. And I'd just like to say that as a plane flies over my head, I don't know if you can hear it, I just want to say that I've used this to great effect. I've used this to defend. It's very good to practice positions with open centers, and there's major cogs, and the main center of gravities are different types of centers. So you have the open center, you have the closed center, you have the half open center, you have the unresolved center, and and so on. So open, closed, half open, unresolved, and you also have the pawn center. The pawn center, where you've got two pawns, you've got pawns in the center and they don't, and that's a huge advantage. And so they're the major centers of gravity. But like I was talking about, there's also smaller ones like king safety, the king, loose pieces, misaligned pieces, and barrages and batteries, engines of war basically. Direct attacks where the momentum is combining and colliding to get the momentum. The pieces are colliding together either to form, combine their momentum, or to have like elastic collisions where it's almost like the pieces are colliding and then boom, repelling each other apart, discovering the attack. So there you have it. The fried liver attack. It's absolutely fantastic. Alright, take care everyone. Bye!